Ever since I made Exploring Doom SnapMap, I've only been focusing on campaign-styled content. There's no doubt that SnapMap is a great source for those that want more campaign content, and it is actually one of the main reasons why I play this particular mode. But in the world of Doom SnapMap, there are certainly more types of content than the ones I've had showcased. For today's episode, I want to talk about survival maps, and survival maps are fairly popular for Doom SnapMap. Back in the days when Doom 2016 announced SnapMap, I was looking forward to the many different types of survival maps that players could possibly make, and I also had intentions on trying to make some of them too. These type of maps are some of the content I enjoy from SnapMap, and I've been playing a decent amount of them throughout the years, and I feel like I am ready to recommend the ones that people should play if they want to try them out. There are no survival maps that are highlighted from id Software, so it can be tricky to find which ones are worth your time. There are many survival maps in the world of Doom SnapMap, and a decent amount of them are certainly fun to play because it seems like the creators know what it takes to make a fun Doom-styled survival level, despite id Software never actually made one officially for this Doom title. Survival maps tend to be more simplistic than the campaign-style levels because most of them are usually focused on an arena-styled map, and it's generally all about the intense combat encounters rather than level progression and puzzle solving like the campaign-style levels tend to do. However, survival maps are a lot of fun to play if you're in the mood to just want to kill demons for the sake of killing demons. And these maps are always a great showcase of why Doom 2016's combat system is so gratifying to be engaged with. Let's get this show on the road. Here are the snap maps I'd recommend Doom fans to try it out if they want to survive the never-ending hordes of demons that is out there to get you until your last dying breath. I will reveal the map ID at the end of their section if you are interested in trying them out. This one is by far the most prehistoric map I'd recommend out of the bunch. Admittedly, it is fairly out of date in some aspects, like the custom geometry and the fact that it only allows you to have 2 weapons only, but it is a good casual styled survival map. The word casual is the key word because most survival maps I'll recommend are certainly intense, but it's nice to play something that's more recreational and still does a decent job at giving the player a decent survival experience. Cartoon Killzone is the name of the map, and it's fairly self-explanatory. You're in a cartoon themed area, and the main reason why it went for that theme is because back in the launch days of Doom SnapMap, that's really all we could do as far as custom geometry mapping goes. If you notice these barricades here, that's because back in those days, we couldn't block demons with the blocking boxes itself, so players had to use objects to do so. For its time, it was certainly one of the more impressive maps, but nowadays, it does show its age, but it's still a fun map to play overall, and it's accessible too. You don't have to be an Ultra Nightmare type of player to be able to enjoy this type of map. I still remember having good times playing this map with random players and online co-op matches too. Mom's Kitchen is the name of this map, and it is a launch day experience Doom SnapMap like the last one, but I would say this one holds up a lot better and has a lot of interesting things to offer. Exploration is by far one of the coolest things about this map because it is a map where you need to explore to be able to survive properly, but it's just the entire location you're in. You're basically in someone's house, and it gives the player this Toy Story type of feeling where everything is larger than life. It's really cool to explore this house, and you're basically the size of an action figure, and you also have to try to survive the demon invasion too. This one is more challenging than the last map, but if you do learn the level fairly well, it won't feel as challenging on your first playthrough. But this map was a good one back in the days, and I do believe its interesting theme and decent level of challenge still makes it worth playing in today's times. I have tried the sequels or spiritual successors of this map because the author did make additions to it, and I honestly think most of them feel rather unfinished, or they feel like a bunch of demos. The one you're looking at is called Mom's Attic, and I think this one is probably the best out of the bunch, but it feels more like a campaign style level that doesn't know if it wants to be a survival map or not. Overall, Mom's Kitchen was a great level back in the day, and I can still enjoy it in the year of 2024, and it was also a map that was an inspiration to the next map I'll talk about. This map is made by yours truly. City Survival was made to become the ultimate survival map for Doom SnapMap. I wanted this map to be challenging, fun for both solo and co-op play, and highly replayable. It's a cyberpunk themed map, which back in the free update 2 days, this was really impressive because we didn't have as many content available to us. We didn't have decals, and I was trying to see if it was possible to make a cyberpunk look in the Doom SnapMap, and it definitely was. Eventually, it got updated with the later content added, so decals definitely made the map look cooler. The entire map is basically a big living Slayer gate, and if you happen to survive up to the 20-minute mark and not lose all your 3 lives, that's where the fun zone really begins. It's a map that you will have to explore for items to progress into the late game. Like I said, it's a challenging one. I have done spiritual successors of this map. You're watching footage of the City Survival 2, which is basically the sequel of the first map with better custom geometry, bigger arena, and more intense encounters. But I've done a couple more maps with similar gameplay structure of City Survival because I liked it so much and I wanted more of it. And there are some out there if you enjoy the gameplay loop but want a different custom geometry. Overall, it's a fun one because, well, I wanted to make this map fun from the year of 2016 to 2024, and if you ever can play it in co-op, it's the best way to do it. This one is what I call Sleeper Hit, and it is a collaborative one. Hellish Domain is a time-based survival map that's all about challenging the player to survive, but you must kill your enemies hastily. The gameplay of this one works by killing enemies to progress through the map because there are these locked areas you're supposed to go. The time mechanic is very good too. It only activates when you are engaged in a big fight, so it's not always ticking down if you're trying to explore the area, which is a good creative decision. It has good difficulty curve too, which makes sense to have it in a map like this, and it's also an awesome looking map too. The map is not too long too, so it's sort of a short but sweet type of map at the end of the day, but I'd recommend this one because it does so many good things that it's really hard for me to find any real flaws with it. The map name of this one is called Hell of a Time, and it certainly lives up to its name. This one is definitely targeted for the skilled players because the goal of this map is to get 666 kills to win the map, but it is a permadeath level, so you have to play it real good, and it does start off fairly casual, but it will become a mental workout later on. Usually it takes me around 40 minutes to beat this map, and there will be some close calls every now and then, so it's definitely a level you gotta focus and try not to get too complacent because this map does got some surprises thrown at you at times. It is a fairly simple map in terms of its creation. There's no cool looking custom geometry or anything like that, but the gameplay is good and I do enjoy the arena design, and I thought the item placements are well implemented too. This one is more for people that want to focus on the sweaty gameplay over everything else. Despite the simplicity of this level, this one is certainly a blast to play if you can handle it. Doom Horde Skylight Arena is a challenging survival map that feels fairly official. The goal of this map is to get 400 kills, and you do have a certain amount of lives you must manage, and there are no custom geometry areas, but the areas are well decorative and it makes you feel like you are about to get into some serious trouble. Speaking of that, this map is intense. It is a map that you will have to learn the item placements to be able to survive properly, otherwise you will die hard. So you have to try hard or die hard in this one, but it is a blast to play, and I have played this one both solo and co-op modes, and it's great for both modes. The map feels official to me because there isn't much of a gimmick or anything like that. It's just some good prefabricated modules being used well, and this level is going to teach you the importance of quick switching and using your chainsaw for mobility purposes. Hell Survival was a map I once talked about, and I did think it was a great map for quick switching exercises. That opinion hasn't changed at all, and it's a fairly simple one too. As you can see in the map editor, there's not a lot of fancy custom geometry or anything like that, but the author nails down on making it a fun survival experience. The item placements are good, and you actually want to explore first before you pull the gore nest. The two big arenas are actually unique in terms of the demon composition they throw at you, So I thought the design choice was interesting because you will have to move around the map a lot while playing this one. It is a one life map, and it's pretty much one of those levels where you play until you reach your better end. Despite the simplicity that this map has, it's a lot of fun to play, and you literally just want to play this level if you just want like a survival map where you can just go completely autopilot and fight a ridiculous amount of enemies. That's really the best way I can describe this map in a nutshell. This is the second casual style survival map I'd recommend. The map is called Bad's Survival Arena, and it is a beautiful futuristic themed arena. A lot of great attention to detail you'll notice while exploring for weapons and pickups. It is a level that does have a life system, and it's basically a map that'll end when you have enough of it or if you burn all your lives to it. It's a fairly easy one to play because there are a lot of safe areas where you can put yourself from avoiding death, and when you learn the item placements, the map will just instantly become a lot easier. But it is fun to play and a good level to experience if you just want to kill demons, not have your skills constantly being tested like the previous ones I mentioned. There is also the ability to become a demon in this map too, but I honestly think it's not worth picking it up because it kinda hurts you more than it helps. This map is another one of these more simplistic survival maps that's more focused on the gameplay and giving the player an engaging experience. It has a very good, well-rounded difficulty, which I think does make it stand out a bit compared to the rest of the maps I'd recommend or about to recommend. Classic Endless Arena is fairly self-explanatory. It's a survival map where you basically play until you've had enough, and there is no life system or anything like that. Just keep killing demons until you've exhausted yourself, and there will be plenty of demons to kill. A good range of items are at your disposal, and you will have to explore as the map gets longer if you want to survive in the later stages. Fun map, and the great thing about this map is there is a button where you can simply end it when you've had enough. Here's another map of mine, and it'll be the last one I'll recommend that's made by me. This one is called Classic Doom Slayer Gate, and it's basically a Slayer Gate that's revolved around various classic Doom themed arenas from the official games and its fan-made WODs. It has a progressive difficulty design where the first few arenas are just basically warm-ups, and later on it will become insanely tough to please the most try-hard players. You definitely want to explore around the map as you enter the next arena because there is no turning back, and the additional weapons are important for your survivability. There is a decent amount of custom geos in this map because of all the fan-made WODs I had to recreate, and the map itself isn't too long, but it's also not too short too. It's a fun one, and I do think you should play this one co-op if you're not the most skilled player because this map is meant to be tough and unforgiving. For the final map I'll recommend is a map made by one of my personal favorite mappers back in the prime years of Doom SnapMap, and it is called Toxin Depot Remake. This one is jam-packed with lots of monsters, and it is a remake of Toxin Depot from Skulltag, an open source port for classic Doom that allows new gameplay enhancements. For the actual map and its gameplay loop, you're basically in this big room, and as the map progresses, you will have more access to new areas and of course, items for you to use. The whole goal of this map is to survive up to 9 waves, and there is a life system that you have to manage, but overall, I didn't find this map to be too bad. Maybe in the later stages it can get pretty spicy, but overall, this one isn't too bad compared to the others when it comes to the difficulty. I do think this map is best played in co-op. In solo, it's playable and fine, but I do find the map to be rather exhausting to play in solo because of the flow is not as good when you have other players with you, but it's still a decent map for the solo experience. That is my recommendation of survival themed Doom Snap maps. I think all of these maps understand what it means to create a decent survival experience for Doom 2016, and there is something for everybody. Some of them are totally targeted for Ultra Nightmare players, and some of them are more accessible, while some of them might be more gimmicky than others. But in conclusion, survival maps are fun in Doom 2016 thanks to the community for making so many fun levels that you can play, and they're definitely replayable too. Even to this day, I still come back to some of these maps mainly because they are just that good. You really can't go wrong with Doom in survival modes because they just mesh well together. Like always, thank you for watching and stay tuned for the next episode of Exploring Doom SnapMap.